Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Kelly, and today we are going to be reading about the Native American cultural region in the Southwest. So if you open your textbook, you're going to need your textbook to page 32. We will be reading on page 32, and then you will need your chapter 3 packet, okay? So let's take a look here on page 32. And there's a picture at the top of the page, and this shows what's called a mesa. It looks like almost like a mountain, but the top is chopped off. It's very flat. So it says here, some Native Americans made their homes on dry, treeless mesas in the Southwest. So that landform is called a mesa. And again, it's an elevated piece of land, but instead of it coming to a peak like a mountain would, it's flat, okay? The driest cultural region was the Southwest. This region stretched from the southwestern United States to northern Mexico. It contained mountains, flat-topped mesas, canyons, and deserts. These varied places share a similar climate. They received very little rainfall, and they had extreme temperatures. Days were hot and nights were cold. Summers were scorching and winters were freezing. So the Southwest had few trees or other plants. Some of the Native American tribes who lived here were nomadic, like the Apache. Remember, nomadic means that they moved from place to place. They would follow the food. Others, like the Hopi, found ways to farm with little water. They raised crops like corn, beans, squash, and cotton, and they established villages. Where have we heard about corn, beans, and squash before? Remember in reading, we called that the Three Sisters planting system. Okay, so the Hopi used that. The climate of the Southwest greatly influenced the way people lived. For example, since trees were scarce, the Hopi did not use wood to build their homes. Instead, they used stone and adobe, a type of clay that hardens like cement. They built apartment buildings called pueblos. These pueblos were 4 to 5 stories high. To move from one story to another, the Hopi used ladders. To dress themselves during the scorching summer heat, Hopi women wrapped cool cotton cloth around their bodies. They used plants and minerals to dye fabric. Then they wove yellow, red, blue, and green stripes into the material. The Hopi also created clay pots in which they stored their limited water. Potters painted black geometric designs and images of living creatures to make these containers beautiful. So let's take a look at some additional information about the Southwest Native American cultural region. So there's the Southwest. And again, if you can imagine where the present day United States is, okay, this would be down near Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, okay, it's down here. Tribes in this region included the Hopi, the Apache, the Navajo, the Pueblo, and the Mojave. The Southwest had a very dry desert-like climate, okay? Water was very hard to come by, so it was used very carefully through irrigation. That means that they would dig ditches to bring the water to where they needed it to water their crops. There were not many grazing animals, so instead, farming was popular for food production. There wasn't a lot of grass for animals to eat. So instead of having animals grazing, they would farm. And if you look here, you'll see this is sort of one of those adobe homes made out of that clay. It was a clay that dries like cement. And here is some corn that is planted. And we've been talking a lot about corn in reading. Here are some of the types of homes that the Native Americans of the Southwest would have lived in. Some lived in adobe homes. These homes had many levels in them and were made from clay and straw bricks. They were cemented together with adobe. Adobe homes housed one family, but the homes were connected together, so many families lived next door to each other. These homes were good in warm, dry climates for tribes that did not move around to hunt and gather. So they were more stationary. They would stay in one place. They would build these homes and stay there. And this picture shows a home made out of like an adobe mud or clay. And then off in the distance, you see one of those flat topped mesas rising up out of the ground. Now, here is a type of art. This is called Navajo sand painting. And these paintings were done by the medicine man, or they would call the shaman of the tribe, and they were done for a purpose. It could be to heal somebody or to bring good crops or good blessings. And, only the people that the medicine man would make the sand painting, and only he and the person he was making it for would know the reason behind it. And the sand was not glued down. He would, as you can see, he's kind of sprinkling the sand, but the sand painting would stay there for a certain period of time. It may be a day, it may be a week, it may be a month, and then he would wipe it away. So it was not permanent. You can buy them as sort of souvenirs, but they're not real sand paintings with that specific purpose that was made for a specific purpose. And they're very, very beautiful. And they would make the sand in different colors using things in nature like leaves and flowers and berries. And then, like I said, after a certain period of time, they would wipe it away. It was not permanent. Okay, here is another one of those trickster tales, and this tale is called Coyote, a trickster tale from the American Southwest.
Coyote, a trickster tale from the American Southwest, by Gerald McDermott. Coyote, Blue Coyote. He was going along following his nose. He had a nose for trouble. Coyote stuck his nose into Badger's hole but got bitten. Coyote wanted to have a flaming red head like Woodpecker, but his fur caught fire. Coyote went looking for Snake, but only found trouble. Coyote was always in trouble. Coyote came to a place where earth meets sky. He heard laughing and singing. He went up to take a look. Coyote saw a flock of crows. They were chanting. They were dancing. Then the birds spread their wings. They flew through the air and circled the canyon. "Oh, if only I could fly," said Coyote. "I would be the greatest coyote in all the world." Coyote called to the crows. "Let me join you," he said. "This foolish coyote wants to be like us," Old Man Crow said to his flock. "Let's have some fun with him." Old Man Crow turned one eye toward Coyote. "You may dance with us," he said. Thank you, said Coyote. "But I want to fly, too." "Maybe you can," said Old Man Crow. Old Man Crow plucked a feather from his left wing. He told his flock to do the same. They stuck the feathers in Coyote. Coyote winced. His nose twitched. The crows chuckled. "You are ready to fly," said Old Man Crow. The birds began their slow, steady chant. They hopped from one foot to the other. Coyote joined in the dance, even though he got out of step and sang out of tune. He was very proud of himself. The crows spread their wings and soared into the sky. Coyote followed. His flight was jerky. He tilted to one side. Since his feathers were only from the left wing of each bird, he was off balance. He fell to the ground. "Wait!" he cried out. "Don't leave me behind!" The birds returned and gathered round Coyote. "We must balance him," said Old Man Crow. Old Man Crow plucked a feather from his right wing. Each of his flock did the same. Coyote cringed as they stuck the feathers in his fur. The crows cackled. "Now I'm perfect," said Coyote. "I can fly as well as the rest of you." Coyote had become rude and boastful. He danced out of step. He sang off key. The crows were no longer having fun. The birds again began their slow, steady chant. Coyote hopped along, flapping his feathered legs and singing sour notes. The dancers spread their wings and leapt into the air. Soon the crows were flying high over the canyon. Coyote struggled to keep up. "Carry me!" he demanded. The crows circled Coyote, but didn't carry him. Instead, they took back their feathers one by one. Coyote sank through the air. He fell straight down. He howled. Coyote fell so fast his tail caught fire. He fell into a pool on the mesa. Coyote crawled out of the water. He heard laughter and saw the crows flying away. Coyote ran after them. He tripped and fell, tumbling in the dirt. Coyote went home, soaked and covered with dust. To this day, he is the color of dust. To this day, his tail has a burnt black tip. To this day, Coyote still follows his nose. He has a nose for trouble, and he always finds it.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that story, Coyote, A Trickster Tale. So you're going to do your assignment today in your Chapter 3 packet. Look underneath the assignment so you can see which pages that you are supposed to do today. And I will see you next time.